Tom.
Yeah, I'm good.
Don, you've had a couple minutes to process this, but is there kind of a sense of relief that you got the job done at home?
Yes, but I feel like this was great because we were able to learn a lot of things about ourselves. I'm never going to shy away from that, but we can be better. And I hate to be that guy, but this was great. This was phenomenal as a great win, great series, great test for us mentally, physically. But we can and we will have to be better to beat Boston. No disrespect to Orlando because they are a phenomenal team. They got a lot of great guys, but I feel like this was just big for us as a group. But we don't really have time to celebrate. To be honest with you. So, but yes, to answer your question, yes, but we could be better.
In the third quarter, where you pulled Darius, put your arm around him on the bench, give him kind of a pep talk. First of all, can you share it all? What you said to him, and then are you glad to see that he responded the way that he did?
Yeah, I told him I don't give a damn what happened the past quarter and a half, the misled, whatever. Like I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it's you trust your work. You know what I mean? Trust what you've done. Trust who you are. And the biggest thing for him is in a game 7. I experienced this when we played Denver. Like. It becomes a lot. It becomes. I'm not saying that was the case for him. I'm not going to speak for him, but I understand what he was feeling. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I can't get anything right. So for me, it's just like, man, trust it. We trust you. Believe in yourself. And there's been moments where he's done the same to me. We have that relationship. So to see him respond like that, like when he hit that 3, I knew like he's back. Like you know what I mean? Sometimes you just need that. The second opportunity. Shout out to Ice for getting the rebound, but like that's huge. You know what I mean? And that's who he needs to be. And I always tell him, he was in foul trouble and things like that, but keep shooting the ball, keep being aggressive. I don't care if you turn the ball over. I don't care if the crowd boos. I don't care. I don't care. We don't care. Just continue to be you, and I'm glad he was able to do that tonight.
Was then when you gave him that bear hug after that 3-pointer, your follow-up message to him, that's what it was all for?
That's exactly what it was.
After Game 6, you took a lot of onus on yourself despite scoring 50 points. If I could have scored 60 or whatever it was. And then you go out here tonight, 89 points over the last 2 games. Just what has your mentality been and thought process been over the last 2 games, really, but especially tonight?
Well, first of all, I'm tired of losing the first round. That's first and foremost, and that's just, that's you work too hard. We work too hard as a group, so that was kind of my mindset, and understanding that they were going to go on a run. And I'm glad it was the first half. That kind of gave us something to respond to. You know what I mean? But for me, just being attack minded. Going out, obviously, battling through what I'm battling through, but I could battle through it and figure it out, or I could rehab it for the next 3 or 4 months. That's kind of where I'm at mentally. So I'm good, and I'm glad we got the dub.
Last one for me. What was? Can you take us inside the locker room at halftime after you guys came back a bit? Still weren't in the lead, but the momentum was coming your way. What was the conversation?
Yeah, it's just staying even keel throughout. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing, and I didn't feel our confidence waver much, even when we had 20 points in the first quarter, 18 points, something crazy like that, 18 points. Like I didn't feel the confidence waver. And it can be a lot. They came out, and credit to them, they came out and jumped on us. But, for us to respond the way we did and just keep plugging, keep chipping away. And then for me coming out, just trying to set the tone in transition, get downhill. When you have the home crowd, those moments, they change everything. You know what I mean? So I got to give a huge credit to Isaac Okoro, Karras, and Sam Merrill. Like, we don't win that game without them playing the way they played and their contributions. That's what, that's what we needed from them, and they were huge for us. So that was the biggest thing.
Hey, Donovan. This franchise hadn't won a first-round playoff series without LeBron James in more than 30 years until today. What does it mean to you to be the one to lead this franchise out of the first round?
It's an honor, obviously, to be in part of history in that regard. But, the biggest thing is, and I told everybody in the locker room, like, I don't mean this disrespectful, but it doesn't really mean much. We didn't make the group we made just to come in and win the first round. You know what I mean? And obviously we have a tall task in Boston, but, like I said, after Game 5, one of you asked, like, what does this win mean? It doesn't mean anything. Like, we accomplished one goal. Now we have to do it again. That's the mindset. Like I said, we could celebrate this for a few hours, but we ain't got really time to do all that. You know what I mean? So that's my mindset. We didn't, when they traded for me, we weren't just to win a first round series, is to continue to push and move forward. And, I think that's where all of our heads are at.
When did you feel the game starting to flip? When did you start to believe that you guys could do it?
I mean, I always believed, but when I felt the game flip, I felt like after I hit that three in the second quarter, that for me was like, all right, like we're going to at least keep it here. You know what I mean? I didn't know how, I didn't know what was going to, but for me it was like, all right, like, just continue to be your pace. When we hit the three and then cut it to like 5 or whatever it was, like, that was when it was like, all right, like, it's a momentum shift. You feel it, you know what I mean? And I felt it. So that was probably the biggest thing. And understanding throughout, like there's going to be runs. We're going to play a team that scores a bunch. You know what I mean? There's going to be runs. So, but once we cut it to like 5 or whatever it was, I think it was 5, after I hit that three, I was like, all right, like we good.
Joe?
Since you keep mentioning the bigger picture a couple times and the Celtics a couple times, what should we make of you guys going into the Boston series? What should we expect from the Cavs?
I mean, whatever y'all want, to be honest. Like, I mean, I feel like, I feel like there's a rep about us or whatever, like inconsistent, whatever. Like at the end of the day, we're gonna be solid. We're gonna do our job. And obviously it's not going to be pretty. I've said this all year. It's not gonna be things where, but this is part of a growth process, and to see us grow up in a series, and not to speak about myself, but I speak about everybody down the line. Like, for us, we are a team that can hang and play with the best and be one of the best, and I firmly believe that. So, I mean, Joe, all y'all can make the takes y'all want to make about who we are, but we know who we are, a team that is a contender, and we have to go out there. And like I said, this playoff series is great, but we did what we were supposed to do. I mean, at the end, in the grand scheme of it all, we just took 7 games. You know what I mean? So for us coming into Boston, I'm pretty sure everybody thinks they're going to come in and kick our ass. So for us to continue to stay level-headed throughout, not listen to, well, y'all, and just be who we are. That's the biggest thing.
Joe G?
The pressure kind of was building, obviously, for the 7-game series, and then on you guys for winning a first round series. Is there a little bit of an exhale moment, especially knowing that you can get Jarrett back?
There's an exhale because Jarrett's coming back. I will say that, but like I said, we won one series. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like, this is great, and I'm happy that we did it, but we haven't accomplished anything yet. You know what I mean? We took care of business. Now we got to go get a road one. We haven't won a road playoff game since I've been here. You know what I mean? So we got to take care of business. That's it.
And how important was Karasberg kind of being
Big
the
time.
secondary guy for you tonight?
Big time. Like, for him to continue getting there at 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and obviously had the 15 points. Like, just being aggressive, being himself. He was the first one here today, and I kind of felt like he was going to give us, what he typically does. I didn't know in what way, shape, or form, but I knew he was going to be there, and it's just great to see that, especially coming up for this series because we're going to need him. But it's great that we all did it together as a group.
Donovan, you and Jason Tatum have a great relationship. How do you look forward to competing against him? And I guess, how will that relationship perhaps be on pause during the series?
I mean, yeah, him, Jaylen Brown, 2 of my friends, I mean, to be honest, but, I mean, I stopped talking to him when there was a possibility that we were going to play him, you know what I mean, once we saw how the thing was going to figure out. But, it's all competition, and I expect nothing but the best from them and vice versa. And, we got to go out there and take care of business in a hostile environment. But it's always great to play against friends, compete against friends, and I know it's going to be tough. It's going to be fun, and I'm excited.
Donovan, what was the key to the way you guys defended in the third quarter there? They were 4 of 24 from the field.
We stayed solid. I feel like Paolo had 18 free throws, but Franz Wagner got to the free throw line a lot this series. Like, whether it was swipe downs, and I'm a culprit of it as well. Like, just staying solid, throughout, making them try to finish over us, contesting shots, running out, and then getting rebounds. I mean, obviously did we win? We lost it by 1. Like, just continuing to fight and claw. That's what it's going to take. In a game 7, it's not really anything you haven't seen. It's just how bad do you want it? I felt like, especially Isaac, like, he set that tone. You know what I mean? And he was the guy that really, whether it's taking the charges, put his body on the line, getting the jump ball, getting the rebounds. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be, but making it tough for them in that regard. that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
89 points, and you're off to the semifinals in the Eastern Conference for you over the last 2 games. Is playoff spider?
I mean, I told you at the beginning of the series, like, this is why I'm here. It's my job. It's why there's the expectation on myself, you know, and I deserve the criticism as much as the, you know, what do you call it, the success, the praise, you know what I mean? So, like, for me, it's just continue to be level-headed. I did my job. That's it. Like, you know, I just did my job, and I got to continue to do my job for us to continue to advance.
Home court advantage series. Nobody won on the road, so home court was huge, right?
Yeah,
You
big
don't
time.
see those a lot, right? You mentioned, though, you're going to probably have to win on the road at Boston. Well, you have to because they have the home court advantage. What's it going to take?
It's going to be fun. I'm excited. You know, I feel like this was a great test for us mentally, physically. First of all, I got to give a shout out to the Cleveland fans, man. That shit was crazy. It's just a lot of fun playing playoff basketball. I have no doubt Boston will be just as loud, and then when we come back here to be the same thing, man. But big shout out to the fans, man. They are electric. You know, they're loud. I was a little upset they chanted "We want Boston" and DG misses the free throw, but it is what it is. But man, it's a lot of fun, and going to a hostile environment. You know, we're gonna need to pull together, stick together like we have been, and you know, go get one or two. Excuse me.
Chris and Dindar.
I mean, you mentioned after Game 6 that you were excited to see Cleveland in a Game 7. Did it live up to
Yes,
your
it did.
expectations?
Yes, it
surpass them?
did. Yes, it did. I mean, if I find myself just standing in the middle of the arena, kind of enjoying the moment, because at the end of the day, like, there's pressure, there's all that, but it's basketball, and I'm playing in front of, you know, some of the best fans in the world. Like, you know, to see the towels, to see Ahmad, to hear Ahmad yelling. I don't know what the hell he be yelling, but I just hear him like screaming. That's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I always tell y'all, like, I'm never going to lose the kid in me, you know, regardless of what happened. And we could have been down 3-0. Like, you know, I'm never going to lose that, because at the end of the day, this is why I work so hard, because I enjoy what I do. But, you know, it's the fans, man. Incredible.
Is there any sense of retribution for you personally, given the way the last 2 playoff series have gone?
I feel like for me, it's more so just trusting the work. Like, the last 2 playoff series have been what they've been. You know what I mean? And I told you at the beginning of the year, like, the past is the past. I can't control that. I can't dwell on it. You know, I can't allow it to affect me coming into this series, because that brings unnecessary pressure. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, yeah, there's always going to be the noise. There's always going to be the talk. But for me, it's just like staying even keeled throughout. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, man, like, we did our job. We were the 4th seed. We took care of home court. But, like, that's my thing. You're not getting too concerned and too worried about it. Like, yeah, in the moment when we lost to Dallas, when we lost to New York, like, I go home and I sit in my house and don't leave. But outside of that, like, and it continues to motivate you throughout the summer. But once the season starts, you can't hold on to it, because then it just prohibits you from moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest thing. Continue to stay even keel throughout, and, you know, hard work pays off, and we got to continue to go.
Last one. Donovan, you tried to carry it over in Game 6. You tried to carry him home. And it didn't happen. Just what does it mean to you to get your teammates to follow your lead in the second half? You come out with those 17 points in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, you did get the help around you to bring this
I have no doubt. You know what I mean? I have no doubt about it. I have all the utmost faith in my teammates, and it's, you know, at the end of the day, I can look at myself and be like, all right, you know, how can I make others around me? How can I allow them to continue to build? And, you know, yeah, we missed shots in a hostile environment on the road, but it is what it is. You know, all we did was lose, and they took care of business. So for me, understand, I knew my teammates were going to be there for me. They always are. You know, and so for me, just continue to believe in it, you know, and I don't care if guys go over 10 or for 12, you know, whatever it is, let's continue to have that trust and have that faith. And, you know, tonight, you know, it worked, and it's going to continue to work, because that's the group we have. And like I said, it don't really dwell on Game 6. It happened. It's in the past, and now it's like, all right, how do we move forward?